Good morning. Welcome to Fallawsophy. I'm your host, Jennifer Fallaw-Doering, and today we have a lot to talk about. Okay. Um, at first I didn't know what to talk about today. I kind of woke up like, what should I talk about today? I'm supposed to do a show and I have no idea. So what we're gonna do is because I put out my Jentel, that is information I receive through interdimensional meditation, with God, Jesus, and the archangels. I project my consciousness to the sixth level of heaven and talk to them. And yes, you can do that too. Um, so we're going to go over the Jentel that was put out yesterday. It is posted on Telegram, on Fallawsophy on Telegram. So we got a banner for that. Bink, where's the banner? There we go. Fallawsophy on Telegram, and it's also on Jennifer Fallaw-Doering on Telegram. So you can go there. Jennifer Fallaw-Doering on Telegram is just a list of the shows I do and the Jentel notes. And so you can scroll back easily there. I don't put any news up or anything like that. Nobody comments. So that's a clean list for you to scroll down. We're going to talk about what was put out in Jentel yesterday. We're going to talk about a couple Jentel confirms already so far, hopefully. And I'm going to talk a little bit about angel numbers. I was thinking I would do the whole rundown, but I'm just going to give you a quick explanation on that and the angel numbers I've been seeing. And then we're going to talk about. So I was doing my hair, and I was talking to Archangel Gabriel about what I should talk about today. And then I was thinking, everybody's talking about how people are going to lose all their money. That's the big fear. We're going to lose all our money and everybody's going to be destitute and we're not going to have, We're going to talk about why that was something that was addressed and planned and handled first through this whole operation of the white hats, the good guys worldwide, because that is something that would be so catastrophic across the board. You would not be able to control an enraged, sleeping monster that is the public. So, along the way over the years, I've gotten information about that psychically. I am not a financial advisor. I don't know how everything works financially between the banks and everything else, but I'm just going to give you what I got on this. And we're going to walk through it live and see what we can figure out. Now, I would like to say thank you to our very own Sue Rose, who types up the Jentel for me. She's a wonderful woman who does it and asks nothing in return. And she will be listening along today because I got this on the fly, this information, and I'm going to be putting more information together as I go. And I didn't get to write it down in some kind of Jentel to give to her to type up. So she's going to listen today, put it all together. I'll take a look at it, and then we'll put it out on Telegram. You guys can share it. But to Sue Rose, I want to thank you so much. It is so nice to have help. You are so wonderful. And forevermore, anything you want from me, healings, readings, house cleanses, absolutely free, my friend. Absolutely free. Forevermore. Don't you ever pay me another dime. Okay? You just send me an email, tell me what you want, and you got it. All right. Let's go over the Jentel from yesterday. This is Interdimensional Meditation by Jennifer Fallaw-Doering, the sixth level of heaven, with Archangel Michael and Gabriel on April 15th, 2024. RV news. There are happening or were sometime this weekend, sometime this week, trade agreements between USA and 7 countries. USA must go to gold to participate in these trade agreements in the future. And there's the cat. You don't see him all day long till I get in here. And there's the cat. Charles. All right, he's gone. Good. Okay. He's old and he doesn't care that I'm busy. Trade agreements between the USA and 7 countries. USA must go to gold to participate. These agreements are for next year. The people that came to our country from other countries now and recently met with Trump first and then Biden. And you'll get the news from them meeting with Biden. I put out that there would be rate changes somewhere on Tuesday. It's Tuesday, so let's keep an eye out for that and pray for me on that one. Okay? In foreign currency. I'm hoping it's Iraq. There will be retaliation after these rate changes. And it's not from the big powers that we normally think in the cabal, this giant mafia that owns all the banks and all the money and everything. It's from what I have always seen happening and why we get the EBS and everything. It's and it was explained in earlier Jentel that there are cells of people, and other people called them after that, sleeper cells or something like that, that will come out of the woodwork and cause chaos. So hired lowest level minions trying to make some money for going out and protesting or doing whatever. Set things on fire, whatever. Countries are prepared for the retaliation, I was told. So in the news this week, I put this out on Monday morning. We got train derailment, first thing. There was news of a train derailment. If you go to Fallawsophy on Telegram, I posted that. The Israel Prime Minister has agreed to participate in World War III scenario or be executed by the World Court / Alliance. The World War III scare is to expose the USA. It's interesting lately that the angels have been referring to the World Court, the World Bank, and I was told that the World Bank is now controlled by the Alliance. All right. In the news, continued weapons in short supply. Cache of weapons found. So if you start seeing stories about weapons, ammunition, and then they're coming out with, oh, we gotta take more of your money because we're in short supply of weapons. I don't know how this is gonna play out, but there's talk about that this week. Increased security on the border. We'll see talk about that this week. I believe it's the USA. It could be everywhere. And then and then next bullet point is undersea tunnels operations going on. So if you see some screwy stuff going on in the sea, it's probably that. Next bullet point was Brazil. Watch Brazil. Because that's all I heard was Brazil. I assumed it was news. There is a little kind of typo, not really a typo. She didn't understand my that was a scribble, Sue. But it's okay. So what it says on the actual typed up Jentel is Brazil and news. But what I originally heard was just Brazil. So let's watch Brazil. Then I got Washington cleaned out by May. In May. Sorry, not by May. In May. Very important. Now, this is the part that concerned me. And I never forecast fear. So I was supposed to tell everybody that you guys are going to be okay. All right? Array of missiles fired at foreign shores. And I said, I hope it's not Alaska because that's what I thought. I thought that's what I saw. today, there's news coming out that I shared on Fallawsophy on Telegram of a missile that washed up on the shore. I think it was. What the hell was that? Anyway, I'd have to go back and look. Okay. I've been running around 100 miles an hour this morning. So go look at that. So anyway, there's a lot of things going on. The Jentel confirmations are starting to come in. Be on the lookout for all these things. We're hoping for rate change today. This is all typed up and posted on Jennifer Fallaw-Doering on Telegram, and also on Fallawsophy on Telegram. You can go and read it yourself. Go ahead and share it, as long as it says, if you share it from my page and people know that it was mine. What's happening here is people don't want to be associated with the psychic lady, but they like my information, which is not fair, by the way. So they copy it and paste it, and it shows up under their name like they said it. So that's, first of all, that's not fair. Rude. Second is, some people are even typing it up, and the words are important. The way it was said, just like here, Washington cleaned out in May is a lot different than Washington cleaned out by May. Okay. So let's be exact. Just share it from the page. It's shareable. I've never been one to get mad about not getting credit for something. But hey, let's have some manners when we're doing that. Okay, angel numbers. I've been getting 555 in all kinds of weird places ever since yesterday afternoon. Angel numbers. When usually when you're starting to open up spiritually, you'll start seeing triple numbers. You start seeing numbers or number sequences that'll pop up over and over again. That is really an attempt by your guardian angels to communicate with you. And in the beginning, a lot of people in the spiritual community are really familiar with these, but some people aren't. And it may be a new thing for you. And in the beginning, I was thinking, well, there's all these websites with these explanations of what these angel numbers mean, 000 through 999. And I'm like, well, who's right? And where did they get the explanation? Where did this come from? I have no idea. But everybody's got their own twist on it. Here's the deal. You could it's just like kids that have codes so they can cuss in front of their parents when they're little, okay? Or in middle school or whatever it is. What you want to do is you want to sit down in prayer and talk to God. Okay? Or Jesus, either one. And you want to say, listen, I've been seeing these numbers, and I would like to have open communication with my true guardian angels, and I would like you to bless that so that it's really them passing me on these numbers to help guide me in my life. Done. You're good. All right? No evil numbers, no imposters coming in. He'll tell our guardian angels, they'll know. Okay, so then go and find a website. I used to go to JoanneSacredScribes.com. And just side note, Sue, you don't have to keep notes until I start talking about debt forgiveness. Okay? So the angel numbers, you want to, or you can even come up with your own meanings. I want you to write each meaning 000 through 999 down on a piece of paper. Because if you're anything like me, I'll go through, there's paragraph after paragraph what this means, this angel number. And I'll scroll through and I get a one sentence meaning and I'm like, oh, okay, 222 means everything will be okay. Right on. So one line, one sentence meaning for those numbers. There's many websites for angel numbers. It doesn't matter. It's a code between you and your guardian angels, and they will pop these numbers up in your path when they see you struggling with something. Okay, so like for my meanings, I don't remember them all. I don't really get a lot of. I get a lot of 444, a lot of 333, a lot of 222s, 555. Change is coming. Good change. The angels gave you that number. It's good. And I've been getting 555 since yesterday. On the coffee maker, I took my child, well, 21. She's 21. Took her in, trade her car in to get her in the first car payment. She's very proud, by the way. She got a very nice car. It's used, but it's going to last her. Anyway, so I'm sitting down, and I started seeing 555s. You know, when I'm driving on license plates, you can't look for it, okay? Otherwise, it's cheating. So if it just pops up on a receipt, it pops up on the TV, it pops up, this car just happens to go in front of you, and there's like 4 5s on it, and you're thinking, oh, is anything ever going to get any better? I mean, what are we going to do? Blah, blah, blah. And you see that 5555, change is coming, and it's positive. So that's how they keep you going and open up a line of communication with you. Because up until now, they're just watching you like, what's she doing? Well, looks like she's struggling there. The energy looks like she's worrying. Okay, what are we going to do? Well, I don't know, pop a song on the radio. Maybe she'll get it. No, don't get it. So 000, I believe, if I remember correctly, for me, for my meanings, my angels are aware of what I think these numbers mean. And that's the key, that you and them are on board with what you think these numbers mean. Okay? And if you get very familiar with those, you can pretty much like read a number sequence like a sentence. Okay? So 111, think. For me, I say think positive. You're creating your reality right now. So like if I was worrying and 111 just kept popping, I'd be like, okay. So a lot of websites will say the universe took a snapshot of your intentions and thoughts right now. So basic same idea. Okay, you get 111. I'm going to announce something positive that's going to happen in my life. 222, for me, everything's going to be okay. So if I start worrying, you know, like just let's say you're worrying and you're driving in your car and you're like, oh my God, this and that and this and that. Nobody can get through to you. You're not receiving your guidance or something. And then you look at the clock and it's 222. Then you get out of the car, you go get gas, you go in and buy a drink and something else, and or whatever, and your price is 2222. You get home and you're sitting down watching TV, and then all of a sudden there's a phone number that pops up, and it's all twos. You can't deny that, okay? Because you weren't looking for it. And so at some point in time, you have to say, okay, everything's gonna be okay. 333, I always thought Jesus is with you. Jesus is helping you with this. 444, the angels are with you and helping you with this. Okay, you're not alone. 555, positive change is coming. Now 666, of course, I was raised Catholic and I just cannot stand that. I don't even like that it's the 6th level of heaven that I go to, but it's actually like in reverse. So like you've got God at the center of everything, and then you've got the 7th heaven around that dimension, and that is the like Garden of Eden. Okay. And then you got the 6th high dimensional place, mostly just angels there. And then you got the 5th and 4th and 3rd, and we all get down to where we are, which is 0. And then you've got the minus levels that go down for the bad guys world. Okay. 666, when I see that, of course, I just look away. I hate that. But in the angel numbers, it's supposed to be change your thoughts. Your thought process is wrong. Okay. Like, you don't need to worry about this, or stop thinking negative, something like that. 777, I don't get that very often, but I believe you're on track with your divine plan. 888, abundance is coming. 999, I believe, is one door's closing, another one's opening. This is happening for a reason. And so I have these basic, my angels know what I think these mean. And so it'd be best just to write down on a piece of paper. Always start out any communication with God at the center of it. God, I would like to talk to my guardian angels right now, and I don't want to talk to any bad guys. I don't want anybody interfering with that. My true divine guardian angels. And then he's okay. And then you say, guardian angels, and they hear you. I'm going to make a list of what I think these angel numbers mean, and this is our code. So if you see me struggling, if you want to pass anything on to me, put these numbers in my path, and that is the angel number thing. It's nothing dark, scary, or anything. And it's usually what starts happening to people when they open up. Their vibration starts rising, or they're starting on a spiritual path or something like that. And the angels are kind of like, well, maybe she'll notice, maybe we can, could we have some kind of code so that we could help you better? Because you're not listening. You're not listening to us. I would do that too. I totally would do that. All right. What time are we at? Cool. Okay, so I was doing my hair today. I didn't have time to sit down and go into meditation and all that. I've been running around. So everybody's scared that they're going to lose all their money, and there won't be any more banks, and there won't be any more cards, and people put this stuff out there, and then they're thinking, oh, because of Nasara Jasara, because banks are bad. Well, the owners and those in charge of the banks were bad. But the concept of a bank is useful and needed, as well as cards. What are you going to do with your business? You're going to just suddenly, give all your employees cash? What are you going to give all your employees checks to write? Put everybody on the account? It's much easier for them to have a card, isn't it? Yes. When you're buying things online, it's much easier and safer to use a card, isn't it? Because you can call the credit card company and say, hey, this wasn't my charge. It's not coming to, somebody's not going to drain your bank account by using your ATM card. Or, how would you ever buy anything online? Again, oh, here, let me send you a check. Or here, let me send you cash. No, it's not logical. And it's one of the first things that they worked on, because the ultimate goal to win against the evil cabal, mafia, those who wish to do us harm, is to take their money so we can be free. Because that is their power, other than influence. But if they didn't have the money, they wouldn't have the influence either. So the money is the root. And is what, besides taking out all the bad guys and their evil doings, the money was the primary goal for this entire operation. And so a long time ago, I got Jentel. People would say, are we going to lose all our money? I can't help you with the stock market. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about your money in the bank accounts, okay? In the banks. Stock market, like if you've got your 401k or whatever it is with the stock market, yeah, it's probably going to be a problem. And why is everybody encouraging you right now to go to a 401k that's backed by gold or whatever it is? I haven't signed up or did any of that, but and I don't sell anything like that, because there will be a crash. There will be a stock market crash. Okay. I originally saw it going way down, and a lot of people losing money, yeah, but then it comes back up. Okay? So most of the financial instruments of our society will be saved or altered or changed so that it is fair to the people and you're not stolen from anymore. Probably so that they're what they were originally intended to be. But the reason that they encourage you to move your money over, of course, yeah, so they can make money right now. Of course, everybody's trying to make money right now. Duh. I mean, why else would you have a business? Let's not get crazy with that. If you did that, you're gonna make money. You know, that piddly shit little amount you got in the 401k, you move it over. And when we do go to gold, you're going to make a lot of money. Okay. So that is valid. That is true. But what I'm talking about is that everybody who's got a bank account will no longer have any money and no way to get any. That would be so catastrophic worldwide that the public would kill anybody in power. They would panic so bad that militaries, no one would be able to control that. And so that was never in the plan. We must function as a society after we go to gold and after we are free. And so part of the plan in the very beginning was to take those in power of the financial out of power, of course, but to ensure that when we did make the change to gold, that the banks would survive and it would merely be, okay, we're going to have a difference in value. Well, your bank account used to say this, now it's going to say that. Debt forgiveness. Something that's so hard to believe because we've been functioning in a fiat system for our whole life, pretty much. Most of us. Yeah. Yeah. And it's foreign to us. And everybody says, well, you bought the thing, you paid the money, you went to school, you did whatever it is. You know, you should pay your debts and be a good citizen, responsible. But they don't know that you've been stolen from and that your debts were already paid. I'm not going to line that out. Anybody want to know about that? Go talk to Mike Barra. He does a very good job at explaining that. But what I'm going to explain today is what they did to ensure that we would still have money. Now, side note, there may be a period of time, I did see that, if you couldn't access your account. I think we're past that, though. I think that we were going to, well, maybe not. There may be a period of time where everybody panics for a couple minutes. Like, my cards don't work. It's been 8 hours. We can't get into our money. And then we do the flip. There's an announcement. And that might be part of the movie to tell us, okay, everything crashed. We got to do something. All right, we're going to get right on it. And we're going to go to gold. Now I'm just going to say, right, I could be wrong about all this. Okay? This is what I got. Not knowledgeable about it, but it makes sense to me. So, some of the big banks that we know of now will still exist after this all happens. There may be mergers, there may be changes, but I believe that debt forgiveness is possible. Because when you sign a financial document, a financial agreement, a loan, anything, you cannot, no one can just change that without retyping up the whole thing and having you sign everything again. It's a new agreement. It becomes a new agreement if the terms are changed. Okay? And yeah, the credit card companies say, well, we're now going to charge you this amount of interest, and that's going to change, and blah blah blah, and you blow past it, and you're like, yeah, getting screwed, throw it in the pile of mail, and nobody does anything about it. It's probably written in there somewhere that they have the right to do that, and we're screwed. Okay, so I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like car loans. I do believe the credit card debt will be wiped out too. I'm talking about car loans, mortgage loans, and basically anything that is written up with the word dollars. Or in other countries, whatever their currency is called. Have you noticed that they're naming the new currency? We're not just saying, oh, gold backed dollar, the new dollar. It's a U.S. Treasury note. And why did they need to change the name? So that all the contracts, all the financial agreements, all the loans with the word dollar in the wording that you signed are no longer valid because there will no longer be a dollar. So, when you ask me when debt forgiveness will happen, when we go to gold. A long time ago, the information I received today, years ago, they started this process with the banks. And I don't know if I'm going to say this right, so don't come at me and attack me later. These are my thoughts. Thoughts over coffee. There. Now you can't yell at me later if I'm wrong. So, a long time ago, they went into the banks, okay? And the banks. The banks were originally connected to the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve owned by the cabal. Okay? Central banks. Now we've shifted over. U.S. Treasury note. We've shifted over. The banks will be connected to your country's treasury. Your country's treasury will be connected to the World Bank. The World Bank is connected to the Good Guy Alliance. And so they will no longer be able to get away with all the nefarious things and all the cheating and all the lying and all the stealing that they did before. And loaning you $100,000 and then going to the Federal Reserve and getting 10 times as much to own out. Selling you gold and then selling a certificate for it 10 times for the same ounce, whatever. So a long time ago, the process started to get the financials from what the banks have on ledger for their loans. And then just like what happened with us in the RV, that bank has an account. It's going to be real simple terms here. Just follow me. Has an account with the World Bank. If it's a worldwide bank. In country, they will be connected to the Treasury, and they have all their money in a Treasury account sitting there without access. And each branch, we've been told, and we know it's true, is that they've received the new USTN, U.S. Treasury note, gold back. And they're sitting in the vaults waiting. Can't touch them. It's all secret, all wrapped up in dark plastic or whatever. Why is that? Just like we've got two presidents, we're functioning on two systems. We're functioning on two financial systems right now. The new one is waiting, ready to go. The old one is still functioning, partially connected to the Federal Reserve. And they're doing everything they can, whoever owns that part of it, still, because they know they're going to go broke, to pull in as much interest as they can right now. Which, that part I haven't completely figured out. But just know that the reason that the debt can be canceled and the banks can survive is because they were insured a certain amount of money in gold to be able to do that. Not because they deserve it, but because they will need to be able to service the public. Now, I asked about, okay, well, so we're going to let the big bad guys, the people that own Chase and all these big banks survive, they get a free pass? And Gabriel said no. And he said the World Court, World Bank, Treasuries. So the World Court has passed down a decision or prosecuted these people. They're no longer in power. He said there's some kind of lineage. You get down to a place where there's somebody who would own these big banks or take control, and they go down so far to somebody who was just working there, would not do the bad things. And then what? They're allowed to run that entity that is like Chase Bank, but while connected to the U.S. Treasury, which is on the QFS system and will monitor everything, which is connected to the World Bank, which is also on the same system, would monitor everything. And the World Court oversees anything that goes wrong with the World Bank. There it is. So, they've already received probably principal on whatever loans they had out. Now, there may be smaller places that go under, smaller financial institutions, smaller, places that you get loans, things like that. They're probably all connected in some way and lead back to some big umbrella entity. It gets very confusing when I start looking at that. So we're just going to keep it really simple. But understand and know that, first of all, you're not getting a free pass because they already received funds. You created the money for your loan. Okay? The bank, and people are worried, well, if we don't pay off our debt, then the banks are going to go under and they're going to take all our money and they're going to steal it. And then so they can have some money to themselves. No, they've already got money in a giant account with each country's treasury, which is connected to the World Bank. Okay. Long time ago, there was gold that was confiscated. Why'd they do that? Why'd they do that first? Because they can't have this gold? Because we want the gold? Because they don't deserve it and they're bad? No. It's because we had to it's going to take a long time to get this financial thing in order, and to get the power back, we have to take their money to capture the flag. Okay? So some of the operations, secret operations, were to go around and retrieve all the gold that had been confiscated by the bad guys and split it up between the countries. Or take control of the World Bank course we had to do that. So just like there's an interregnum going on with the fake president and a real president right now, just here, the same thing is going on with financial institutions. And you don't hear anything about it. We get leaks of information. But we have heard information about countries that have gone to gold and they just had their currency just sitting there and ready. Are you kidding? Oh, yeah, we just decided, well, we'll just print some up. No. This is the biggest part of this operation. It's the root. You got to pull the root to kill the weed, or it'll keep growing. That's why your money will be safe when we go to gold. And yes, everybody that puts their money into gold will make money. You will make money. But I don't believe, because of this, that everybody will lose all their money in the bank. Okay? It had to be insured. If they didn't insure that the public would be able to function, I'm not just talking about the public. We're talking about businesses. We're talking about hospitals. I mean, if the public loses their money, so does everybody else. And the society grounds to a halt and it's absolute chaos. That is not divine. That is not freedom. That is hell. And they couldn't have that. So long ago, they ensured that when we were ready to do this transition, that everyone would be okay. Now, Donald Trump always told us when he was in office that your 401ks are safe. If it's connected to the stock market, I don't know, because I do see a crash coming. I'm not going to lie to you about that. I mean, you might lose it, or get way, way down to nothing and have to rebuild. Okay. But as far as losing all your money, I don't think so. There would be no point in doing any of this if that happened. What we need to do is move into a fair financial system. And that's what they did. So, yes, it's not debt forgiveness, it's cancellation. And it's because of the way that things were written up and because they changed the name of the currency. Now, if they were to keep the name the dollar, I'm not quite sure. But if they were just say, oh, yeah, it's still the dollar, but it's gold back. Pay all your loans. But then, okay. So let's say you had $27,000 in the bank. Probably not average person, but let's just do that for the math, okay? Because I originally got that it would take 27 fiat dollars to equal one USTN, US Treasury note. So let's say you had $27,000 in the bank. And we go to gold, and now you have $1,000. And you have $5,000 or $6,000 in bills to pay in a month. How do you do it? Would all those creditors just say, oh, well, here's the calculation. We'll just give you two prices to pay, and you can just pay the notes. I wouldn't do that if I were you. That's not what my contract says. My contract says that I'm to pay you in dollars. I no longer have dollars. So there's nothing you can do. And I doubt that'll happen, but, and we never know what's going to happen. If anybody gets something that says, oh, hey, well, why don't you go ahead and sign this and just make sure that we know that you're going to be paying us in notes, and then sign this agreement that says that you will. I'd be like, no, I don't think I'm going to sign anything. I think possession is 9/10 of the law, so I think I'm just going to keep this car. Okay. And I really hope this happens soon, because like girls just have two new car payments for themselves. They're all proud of themselves. It's really cool. But yeah, mommy did a little bit to help out there. But that's why when we go to gold, you don't have any debt. And that's why they changed the name. And that's why you'll see country after country will be coming up with some altered or changed name, depending on their agreement, depending on what they're doing. Okay, but we got the World Court at the top. That World Court will keep up on the World Bank. Monitor. The World Bank will monitor the country's treasuries. And the Treasury will monitor the banks. And that will be our new system. And they've got the new, computer system, the QFS and all that stuff to make sure that everything's streamlined and everything else, and that we can connect and have those things connected. And we will still have banks, and we still have cards, and there probably will still be some kind of crypto and everything, and the world will go on just much, much better. So this is kind of the understanding that I got, because a lot of people have a trouble with the concept that, we can't possibly have debt for forgiveness. Oh, that's not right, because I actually got the car from the dealership, and then the dealership got money from the bank, but I have to pay the bank, because if I don't pay the bank, then and everybody doesn't pay the bank, then the bank's going to go under. No, they submitted financials. And they have it in reserve and U.S. notes. So I'm sure there's lots of people commenting here with a lot to add. I take very complicated things and explain them in very simple ways. So you take that information and work with it any way you want. But we're going to be okay. We're going to be more than okay. We're going to be really good. And the people that are involved in the RV, the revaluation of currencies, that's happening now. There's lots of countries that are going to gold. You're going to start seeing it one by one by one by one. And I believe our RV window is when the rest of them have gone to gold. I think we're supposed to be last, like us in the UK or us in England or something like that is supposed to be last. Not sure. But definitely us. And so that's our RV window. And if we're supposed to go, in the information that I received, we're supposed to go into gold. I got May Day was May 1st. I'm thinking, because they keep pushing things, sometime in May. Let's just go for sometime in May. I'll take it. But before that happens, just like there is a faction or a fraction of control that runs the White House, and they're allowed to do things, probably on some kind of script. But that's, it just blows my mind every time we start talking about that. But it's true. It's very confusing. I believe those who are left and functioning with the Federal Reserve, they have to right now, until such time as they get full access to their funds that are sitting in the Treasury. So just as somebody goes to their redemption appointment, the RV window is going to be the difference in value between the foreign currencies that you hold and the US dollar at the time. So it has to happen before we go to gold. Okay. So the process is RV, get rid of the actor in the big white house in whatever way they choose to do that, and then go to gold. And then the Nasara Jasara rollout starts, okay? The debt forgiveness is going to be a product. It's going to, because we went to gold. But the banks will survive, and they'll be hooked up, and they'll have enough money to function and loan people money and all kinds of stuff. They just can't loan you $100,000 if they don't have it anymore. That's the difference. Okay, but that is why that is why debt forgiveness is real and possible. You're not cheating anybody out of anything. They already received what they need to function on what they have loaned out a while back. So any new loans, I don't know. Maybe they've got some ongoing tally or something. But so we got World Court at the top, monitors the World Bank. World Bank monitors the treasuries and companies. Treasuries monitor the banks. And they're all connected. And the World Court and the World Bank and the treasuries, and in turn the banks, are all alliance now. Or will be. So, very interesting times. But it's going to get really good really fast. So, it is a good idea. It is a good idea if you have quite a bit in the 401k to move it over to gold right now. Actually, it's an exceptional idea because pretty soon you're going to make a whole bunch of money on that. That would be the number one reason. You probably lose money. They probably charge you a lot to do it. I mean, you have to expect that right now. But once it goes, it's going to be big. Big. All right, we got all kinds of comments in this chat here that I've been ignoring. What will happen with the euro? Will each country use their sovereign currency? So every country is going to be sovereign, right? They're going to work off their treasuries, not central bank. Those treasuries will be connected to the World Bank, which is alliance. Now good, guys. And then monitored by the World Court. Somehow. Not familiar with the World Court. Something that Archangel Gabriel's been talking about lately. World Court, World Bank. I have a feeling most countries will change the name of their currency in some way to allow for debt forgiveness, because you cannot continue to pay money back to an entity that no longer exists in currency that no longer exists. You see? Okay. Yeah, somebody put their money in silver. Silver's great. You have the money to accumulate it. It's something people have been accumulating for a long time, and those people are going to be really happy really soon. I got some in the drawer, for emergencies. A couple house payments worth. But if there's no house payment, I talked to Jesus and the angels. Do they hear me? I never hear anything back. When you say the name of Jesus, you are never not heard. When you call out, Archangel Michael told me. First of all, talking to God and Jesus, that is a direct connection. It's completely private. Nobody else hears that. It's between you and them. Okay? But you are never not heard. The only difference in some people is that some people have learned to listen. And that is what I teach people to do. It's not some weird voodoo, witchcraft, weird ass crap, okay? It's faith and learning to listen. And that's all I do. Okay? And you can all do it too. I don't take on many students. Because it's a lot of work for one, I don't want to get overloaded. But I can tell you right now, if you're trying to listen, I don't hear other people's voices. I don't hear anything outside of myself, and if I do, it's a ghost or some wonderful sign a loved one is giving me from beyond. But most of the time, your answer is going to be in your own head, in your own voice. It almost doesn't even have a voice. It's like information. You know what I say? Even before you ask, it is given. That's because there's a delay in the way that, especially the way you communicate with God. There's an instant understanding of the energy of that thought before your brain translates that thought into language. And sometimes when you answer the question, you get this overlaying thought over the question that you're forming. You'll get the answer before you even finish asking the question. If that happens, just ask that they wait until you're done asking the question. They will. I had to do that early on. But sometimes God, Jesus, and the angels will do that to get through to you. If you're going on and on and on in your mind, oh my God, this and that, and this and that. And all of a sudden, over your thoughts that you're formulating, you get this other thought that's louder. That's guidance. So when I talk to Gabriel or Michael, it's like, I think I've kind of assigned them kind of a different energetic kind of voice for each one of them. But it's not the voice, it's the feeling. You get tuned in energetically on a vehicle of love with them. You establish and you nurture this ongoing conversation, this friendship, this bond. That's when it really starts heating up. That's what happened to me. When I was widowed with 2 small children to carry on by myself, and the rest of the family going, oh my God, what's she gonna do? Is she gonna go under? And I'm like, not on my watch. Everything's fine. We're all gonna be okay. And then I went to God and I said, everything's not fine. I don't know. This is really big. I don't know if I can handle this. I need you to help me raise these girls. I need it. I need help. And I just talked to him. Not obsessively and weird, like over in the corner shaking my head and stuff. Just like all day long. Oh, I don't know. Jesus, they're both sick and they're like vomiting, and one's got a fever and this one's got that, and and should I take them in? Is everything going to be okay? And then you got to stop for a second and listen. And the way that it sounds is like this. Let's say I was worried about something, like Katie coming home safe. Okay. And I'd say, God, in my mind, and my voice is this loud: God, is Katie going to come home safe? His answer would be just after that, and just a bit quieter, at 6:00. It would sound like that. That's what it sounds like to me. So when I go into meditation, of course, I create the scene and I see them all there, and they're talking and all this stuff. But most of the time, it's a transfer of knowledge. It's more like a telepathy kind of thing. And so that's where the interpretation comes in. You want to keep it humble, just like Jesus said. You never want to jump to a place where you believe that everything you hear in your head is the word of God. First of all, that's a place of ego. There's a fine line between trusting what you receive and stepping over into ego. And if you step over into ego, other voices can interrupt that, send information to your head and give you the wrong information. And now you've quit your job or something because God told you to do it. No, he didn't. Okay? We have a brain and we have a human filter, and the energy, the information that is thought will travel to your brain, and you will translate that according to what you believe, what you don't believe, what is possible, what's not possible, your programming. And that is why programming is important, and the dark side knows it. That is why influence is important. They want to drown out that guidance that comes after you ask the question in your own mind. It's kind of hard. It takes practice. I think the reason I've gotten so good at it is because I really want to get the truth for people, for me, for my family, and I've been doing it for a long time, my own little way. So no, I don't use any. And I'm saying, cards and all these things, they're just a trigger for people. Like, it's like, oh, I pulled this card. Okay, I'm on track now. Just like when I asked for a name, it's almost like an energetic cue. I get a connection. That's why I can't find missing objects. They're not alive. They don't have like an intelligence, they don't have energy that I can connect to and feel all this stuff. And so anyway, if you want to listen, the answer comes very fast and it's very subtle in your own mind, in your own voice. If I'm talking this loud and the question is loud, the answer will be just a bit quieter. And it will always be the highest truth when it comes from Jesus or comes from God. It's never going to be fearful, and they will never tell you to do anything. They may, you want to word the question in such a way, well, how should I handle it? Would I be better off if I did this or that? They'll give you the this or that. But they will not interfere with your free will, ever. Ever. Because you are a piece of God, having an experience in a human body right now. Nothing exists outside the body of God. Well, I'm not quite sure. Yeah, pretty. Let's just stick with that for now. I learned a lot along the way. But as a piece of God, having an experience, the reason that you are never disconnected from the big piece of God is because you're Him. And the reason that the angels love you so much when they're assisting you, they're assisting Him in His experience. And the reason they will not interfere with your free will, human beings interfere with your free will. Bad guys will interfere with your free will. Why? Because they're hurting God, and they know it. That's why they hate humanity. But when you're talking to God and you're talking to the angels or you're talking to anything and you start hearing fearful things like, oh my God, you must drive up into the woods and strap yourself to a tree and let a bird peck at your eye or whatever that's not them. That is your fear in your mind or some bad guy messing with you. At the center of everything is the highest of vibration. And that is love and wisdom only. So, they're never going to tell you to do anything. It's never going to scare you. Never going to do anything bad. They may not always say everything you want to hear. Like if you want to be with somebody and they're asking, well, do they really love me? Do they really love me? A lot of times you're not going to get that answer because you're going to block that answer because you don't want to hear it. You don't want to hear if it's not true. So it's a tricky thing. It's something that, takes years of experience. It's very personal. because you got to get through your own human filters, and that's what I mean. So might not want to ask the question about things you're afraid, if you're afraid to hear the answer, because you might not get it just because you're afraid to hear the answer. It's not that you're not heard. It's not that you're not recognized. It's not that it's that you're not allowing yourself to hear the answer. And so it's all about learning to listen, and that's all that I've done. Okay, we got to get going. I got to start with the clients. I want to thank everybody for joining me. Sue Rose is probably going to try, I gave her quite a big job today because I skip around. I'm going to try to line that up into something legible to put out on Telegram about why debt forgiveness is possible and what our new banking structure will be and how it's monitored and all that. Hopefully that's right. I don't look like an idiot, but it is what it is. You got to be brave. Just come out here and put it out. We'll see what happens. Keep your eyes out for Jentel. If you see any Jentel confirmations from Monday's Jentel or any of the previous, go ahead and post it in Fallawsophy chat. I have a chat that you can join that's connected to my Fallawsophy channel on Telegram. That's where everybody's at. That's where you got to go. Figure it out. Learn how to do it. And I got to get going. Everybody have a good week. I'm hoping for really good news today. Something about a rate change. So let's get it going. Pray it in. Have a great day.